I don't, yeah, I haven't touched the device yet. Yeah, so Alfredo, how are you doing?
Great to see you, Coach. Doing great.
Good to see you too. Can Frank hear us now?
Hey, Frankie hears, but his audio is off.
Hey, do you have your
Mark,
playbook,
Mark,
Coach?
Mark, can you counsel your brother there momentarily?
I tried, man. He's got to hit on mute on the phone. Bottom left.
His audio, he's not even connected audio. Well, no, he's muted. You're correct.
That's what happens to guys from Valley View.
That's right. Jason
Right,
looks
Mark?
like he's about to board an airplane. He looks like he
I know,
take off.
I know.
or something.
What, my headphones?
Yeah.
Jason,
I
whoa.
actually, I had cochlear implant this past week because I'm deaf now in my left ear.
No shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I had to go up to New York and I had surgery last Friday. I'm recovering now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything okay, Jason?
That was all the coach used to yell in my ear. I went deaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Are you a lion or are you a pussycat?
I know.
What are you? You gonna be a lion or are you gonna be a pussycat?
I remember the word pussycat a little different than that. But
Yeah. I thought it was, are you a man or you're a dog? No, something like that. Are you a man or you're a mouse?
no, it's a
I have
lion
to
or a
say-
pussy.
I was sitting next to Jason when Coach said it. Are you a man or a mouse? And I'm going, please don't ask me that question.
Yeah.
Was there
But then-
out the
but then-
sophomore? I was so scared. It was a fright. Oh my God, couldn't tell
Mark, but then foolish me, the next thing I knew, my feet were about a foot off the ground.
you. Oh my God.
Yeah, Jason jumps up and like jacks me up.
That's the best form I've ever had in a tackle, I'll tell you.
You had great leverage there. Honest to God, you rolled your hips. Yeah, I mean, you had great leverage on that one.
I got under you. I was just boom.
His pad level was lower than mine, Wayne.
It was a flat back shot out of a cannon.
Yep, yeah. Thank God it wasn't a full 5 seconds.
That was nuts. I was scared.
Oh, goodness.
I was scared
Andre
too. I didn't know what he was
Whitaker.
going to do to me.
What's going on, Coach?
Okay, buddy. How about you?
Doing all right.
Yeah.
Doing all right.
Yeah.
Excited for you for your new chapter. We'll miss you at Travers Award for sure.
Yeah, that was so kind of you to get me involved in that, and that was a great experience. But I figured I need to make a full break here and give somebody else an opportunity to experience that. But you getting me involved in that was a blessing for me.
Oh, I'm glad you were able to do it. It was an honor to serve with you and do that. So
I had a good conversation, just recently about that on the phone.
You hear me?
mm-hmm.
Is that Dane?
That's me, Frank Pershpilai.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Am I on?
Yes. Yes,
Freaking
Frank.
people. I swear to God, you're lucky I'm not 2 feet next to you. I'll be smacking all of you. Making fun of me, you damn underclassmen.
What the hell do you got on your
I'm
head,
disgusted.
man?
I got my beanie on, man. I like my head warm.
Yeah, you expecting
Want to
some
see
sort of,
how little I have left? Is that it? You know?
well, you expecting some sort of Arctic blast to come through any moment or what? Oh,
Man, I'm old.
no, I'm old. Dane Taylor, when's the last time?
No, you're a classic, buddy.
We connected.
You're
man?
vintage.
It's probably been a couple of years, Coach. I haven't
Yeah,
been back to Hershey in a while.
yeah. Right now we couldn't get you on campus if we wanted to.
Yeah, I got a little cousin that's actually going to school there now. She's in second grade, so she's
No
been
kidding.
kind of
I was over just on, I guess it was, just on Friday. No, Thursday, I guess it was. I was over in Memorial Hall for a few moments, Dane. And she was probably with her instructor doing some online learning at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been tough. I have 2 kids right now in virtual school here in the New York area. It's been tough for them since March of last year. So we're fighting through it, though. Just a little bit of adversity.
Yep. Yeah. This too shall pass.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Everybody stay healthy in the interim, though.
Yep.
Yep. What's that? What do you have? Let me see. Wayne has, what's he have up here? Eliminate ground time. Yeah, we used to get so fired up when we had you guys in the end zone. And we would do near the end of practice, we'd do those grass drills, and then fly to the ball, and everybody, I mean, we'd go 4 quarters and yeah, I tell you what, you guys were nonstop entertainment for the coaching staff. Really. And you know what? You guys got so good at that. I had to actually practice blowing the whistle fast enough. You guys got so quick at doing that.
Gus got checking for rain.
Of course. Oh my God, Gus Knight.
Running to
So,
chocolate.
Coach, can I ask you a question? What are you doing next? What's the next chapter?
But me?
Yes.
Ballroom dancing.
I'm going back to double sessions, Alfredo.
Oh,
I'm serious.
I'll join you.
I gotta stop this damn or slow down this aging process a little bit. I'm gonna go 2 workouts a day. I'm serious.
There you go. Alfredo needs to join you.
Oh, Coach, you still run every day? Do you still run every day?
No, my knee is so bad now that I gotta. In fact, Zerky and I were together this morning up in the fitness room, and he's on the treadmill, and I hate to even admit this, but I'm right beside him on an elliptical, because it's so embarrassing. My knee is so shot right now that I can't. It doesn't take the pounding it used to. But hey, it's it is what it is. I'm gonna navigate it and still keep figuring out how to break a sweat.
You still doing 1,000 push-ups, Coach?
I gotta use that weight assisted dip and chin station just to get through that range of motion. Yeah, that's shoulder shot too. But I'm determined not to get any damn procedures until someone actually drags me into the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Carlos, how are you doing?
Good, Coach. How are you?
Yeah, where are you at down in Florida now?
I am Kissimmee area.
Yeah.
We're, about 45 minutes south of Orlando.
Are you anywhere near a place called Leesburg?
Leesburg.
No, that's in Central Florida too.
I'm not sure. I'm still learning the area.
You're still trying to figure it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know one thing. You're close to Disney.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to Disney.
Yep. And what is it? What else? All the other special locations down there. Yeah. Yep.
Hey.
International Drive, man. SeaWorld and Wet and Wild. I used to, Carlos, before I came to Milton Hershey in the early 80s, I taught and coached over in Daytona Beach at Daytona Beach Mainland High School.
Okay.
And we used to play teams over towards Orlando right along that I-4 corridor.
Yep.
That didn't go too well, did it?
Now, I'll tell you what we did though, Roger. We installed, this was in the early 80s.
Yeah.
We installed the wing tee down there in Florida.
In Florida.
No.
We had no idea what that was.
Yeah.
No idea what that was. But yeah, so it was good for about a year till they figured us out. Yeah, but I tell you what, you talk about speed, and it's legit. Yeah, it was legit. Almost, yeah, not quite as quick as Gus and Wayne were, but it was.
Hey guys, I want to take a little management here and try to lay out a format on what's going to happen here. Before we get started, what I would like people to do is one by one, just tell who you are, what year you graduated, and where you're living these days. Because all this is recorded, and Coach Guy can always reflect back onto it, and it gives everyone, because there's a couple of generations on this Zoom right now. I mean, there's some people that weren't probably even in Milton Hershey School at a young tight. So we'll do so. I'll just call people out, and as I can see it in my gallery view, You guys can introduce yourselves, what year you graduate, and where you live right now. And if you care to give your occupation, that'd be great also. So eliminate ground time. Go ahead, Wayne.
Wayne Allen, class of 93, co-conference champions. We share that conference with old Mickey Geyer. So I think if it wasn't his son, we'd be the champions. He won that. So living in Pittsburgh now, and I own an insurance agency. So
excellent.
Congrats, Coach.
All right. Mark Pershbly, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Mark Pershbly, class of 89. We turned the tide for Coach because the previous years just couldn't get it done.
Where are you living, Mark?
I've been doing medical sales for the last 13 years, surgical OR type stuff. Jason mentioned about the ear implants, so we actually work in that realm as well. But I live in Lansdale, just outside Lansdale, Telford, Pennsylvania for the last few years. Married, 2 kids, a boy 14 and a daughter 9.
Excellent.
Their names, yep. The wife's
Mason and
name is
Bailey.
Amy, and the son is Mason, the daughter's Bailey.
Yep.
Nice. Alfredo, go ahead, sir.
Alfredo Gonzalez, class of 87. I live in the Harrisburg area. I work in with Swan, which is kind of helping kids who need adoption, need homes. I remember Coach Geyer. I don't know if I should go into that now, but I just remember Coach Geyer when he first got there, before the stadium was built. So good to see you, Coach, and good to see a lot of the other guys too, Cordelius and Andre and Solomon and those guys.
All right, Alfredo. All right. Jason, go ahead, sir.
Cornelius.
Hey, this is Jason Wolf, class of 87. I live in Pittsburgh. I've got 2 adoptive girls, foster boy, and then 2 other children and 2 grandchildren. I work in technology. I'm actually on the board of the FDR, which is with Alfredo for the Statewide Adoption Network. So we do work with kids. You know, I think and I'm the years that Persh was talking about that couldn't get it done. But what we did get done, I remember Geyer, and Coach Geyer is, when I enter my passcode, you're on the online banking and they say, enter the name of your favorite teacher. And I always put Geyer. He was instrumental in me becoming a man. And I always think about him, especially when I'm working out and I got like 2 reps left and I don't want to do them. And I just think of Geyer. And I'm sure a lot of us have great life lessons from Coach Geyer that I'm sure we all have stories on. And I'll always remember getting low on them, getting them jacked up against the lockers.
Jason, you're getting ahead of the game. You're getting ahead of the game,
okay,
Jason.
Right.
You're getting ahead of the game. We're going to get
Class
to that
87.
part. We're going to get to that part.
Oh, there was more to it. Okay. Sorry, Roger. Sorry, bro.
Roger, Jason's very humble too. He, of course, everybody, all the other guys need to know, if they don't, that he's also an alumnus of the year here at Milton Hershey.
Excellent.
And what a tribute to MHS and I like to think to our football program.
Yeah, so guys, we want to kind of keep the introduction short because we'll get to the story times a little bit later. But I just want everybody to get a sense of who's who and where they're from before we get to the story things. And once again, we're going to try to wrap this up inside of an hour so people can get to their NFL football day if that's something of importance to you. So Carlos, you're next, sir.
So my name, Carlos Anavitate Bermudez. It's a mouthful. I graduated in 2013, and I am soon to be a college student yet again, majoring in psychology, minoring in sports coaching.
Excellent. You're down in Florida now, correct?
Yep, I'm over in Kissimmee, Florida.
And Carlos just did some coaching for us here the past couple years.
Yep. Okay, Frank, you up? Samsung Galaxy S7.
Hey, I am Frank Pershbly, Mark Pershbly's bigger, badder brother, class of 1986, Bob Geyer's very first coaching position in 1986. I live in Stewartsville, New Jersey. I have 2 sons, Benjamin, who's 25 now, and Joshua, who's 22. Benjamin is in the Navy. He just graduated Nuclear Training Academy. Joshua is getting his master's in chiropractic college up in upstate New York. I work for Stop and Shop Supermarkets. I'm a customer service manager. And yeah, I'm still badass if you want to know.
I'm glad your kids got their brains from their uncle. Yeah.
So am I.
All right, Phil, go ahead, Phil.
Phil Thomas, class of '06, working with a college ministry, campus outreach down here, Greensboro, North Carolina. Married, 2 kids, just a newborn, about 6 months old, Micah and Gabriella. So excited to be on here. Glad to celebrate you, Coach Geyer.
Phil's wife, Olivia, is she's the rock of that family.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. Yeah, Phil, it's so good to see you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Quasi, go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Coach, my name is Quasi Abrokwa, class of 2000. Currently reside in Hershey, Pennsylvania, with my wife and 1 child. We have a daughter, Aubrey, who's 3 years old. And I currently work in human resources and higher education at a nearby university. And I also coach junior high wrestling here at Milton Hershey.
Excellent. Micah, go ahead, sir.
Coach Guy, how are you, sir?
Micah, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Micah, right, class of 1999. Live outside the Philadelphia area. Work as a high school counselor at Harry S. Truman High School. Head track coach. Been doing that now for some time. Married, 2 kids. Just doing the best I can, trying to stay safe.
Excellent.
All right.
Corey, go ahead, sir. Hold on. You supposed to be the technology king.
Are you speaking of Corey Dupree?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm in a meeting with MHSAA at this time as well.
Oh, okay.
So I got a couple of things going. But Corey Dupree, class of 2009. Things kind of have a funny way of working full circle. Both Smitty and Geyer kind of know what I might mean by that. I'm actually the alumni engagement coordinator now for Milton Hershey. So here to go ahead and change the line of thinking for all of our brothers and sisters who are alumni now and those who are going to be coming after. So I'm excited to go ahead and excel in that space. I have 2 little ones. I'm in Palmyra, Pennsylvania. Also am a president of a nonprofit. I see one of my brothers here and in real estate and community development on a much larger national scale. So I'll go ahead and shut up and get back to the tech on both sides.
You want to do a meeting with me? All right, Gary, go ahead, sir.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gary Gilliam of the oh-so fine class of 2009 that got messed up with swine. But
That's right. That's right.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a flashback of O'Brien.
I went on to play football at Penn State under Joe Paterno and Bill O'Brien. Went on to play in the NFL for a few years with the Seahawks and the 49ers. And now doing commercial real estate development all around the nation, but most specifically there in Harrisburg. We bought the old Bishop McDevitt and we're actually converting it into essentially a community center, to not go too deeply into it. And I actually currently live in Seattle.
Excellent. Gus, checking for rain. Go ahead, bro.
Gus Nikon, class of 94. I live in New Jersey. I'm a Jersey State trooper. I've been a trooper for a while. Married, 4 kids. And I run the undercover program for the state police.
Gus has a son that's a pretty good athlete too, in about 9th grade, don't you, Gus?
Yeah, he's sitting here next to me.
All right, buddy. All right, find a way to get better today.
There you go. Freshman. He started varsity football this year as a freshman. So
nice. What high school is he in down there?
Sterling High School.
Okay. All right, Cornelius, compete.
My name is Cornelius George. I would like to say I was class of 97, but class of 2000, we had the 97 undefeated year, and then tough years after that, Coach. We had some tough years after that.
It was just a rebuild, Cornelius.
Rebuilding. No, but class of 2000. I live in Indianapolis right now. I am currently a director of sales for a cybersecurity company, which I'm going to tell you right now. Who was it that Jason? Don't give up that information, bro. Like, come on, man. Because now we know how to get in the account. But no, I am also a CEO of a fledgling startup that's working to try to bring transparency and efficiency to law enforcement. And other than that, I'm just happy to be here. Love seeing all you guys doing some amazing things, and love Coach, man. Compete. You know what I mean?
All right. I think that's Ryan running the chocolate. Ryan? Is that him? That's Ryan Ames running the chocolate, right?
Russ Ames.
Russ.
Pay
Russ.
attention.
Thank you.
Hey, Russ Ames, class of 94. Was on the same team with Wayne and Gus back in the day. Retired from the Army 2 years ago out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And so working for a company out of Colorado now at the Air Force Research Lab here in Albuquerque with these space vehicles and laser things. But got motivated by Gus and others like him, volunteer with the sheriff's office here, trying to help out wayward delinquents like me. Congratulations, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Russ. Russ has a wonderful family. He has a daughter, Savannah, who is a pretty outstanding runner, an all-around athlete, and Carson, his son, and of course his wife's an outstanding basketball coach too.
Russ, what grade is your daughter in now? I know she had AAU success.
She's a sophomore now, so tough with this COVID. And our state's one of those ones that are really locked down too. So we're figuring things out.
Wow, man, she's in high school already. Sheesh. All right, Solomon, you're up, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Coach
Solomon.
Smitty, how's it going?
All right, buddy.
I'm Solomon Melson, class of 1998. Currently married, 3 kids, 15, 12, and 8. I live in the DMV, live in Maryland, work in Virginia. I'm currently a clinical social worker, operations manager for Fairfax County Neighborhood and Community Services. Been in the DMV area since 2002.
All right.
Solomon's wife, Melanie, of course, she definitely keeps everybody moving in that family, and they love. How about it, Solomon? Those kids love Hershey Park as much as
Yes.
anybody.
Every July, we're usually in Hershey for my daughter's birthday. Connect with Coach Pastor Wagner. So yeah, we love it for sure.
All right, thanks, Saul. Hey, Desi, you're up, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you called at a time where my 2-year-old wasn't screaming. But yeah, how you doing, Geyer? Everybody else, nice to see you guys.
Wait.
Hey, Melanie.
That's Juan Dubois. Class of, okay.
Get there, dude.
There we go. Class of 07. Live in Charlotte, North Carolina right now, and been in business intelligence for the last 10 years or so. I'm a complete nerd. I might not look like it on the outside, but I can assure you I am. Newly married. As I mentioned, 2-year-old daughter, Nova Claire, love her to death. And yeah, I'm just glad to be on this call with you guys.
All right, thanks, Des.
Desi, we still talk about you scoring from 70 yards away on a quarterback sneak.
Which time?
No. Someone said you stepped out of bounds. I don't believe it.
Hey, give me his number.
There were a couple, yeah. There were a couple scores on sneaks, weren't there?
Yeah, quite a couple.
Okay, Alfonso.
Hello. My name's Alfonso Nathan.
Alfonso.
I'm located outside of Philadelphia. I just moved to Oaks, PA. I'm a licensed mental health therapist. I own a counseling practice and a psychiatric practice. I do a couple nonprofits for mental health therapy for people of color in different communities. I have 2 kids. I have a little baby girl. She has my little supernova. She's if you guys follow me on Facebook, she's a trip. But she's a cancer survivor, and she's been fighting ever since. And we're working on potty training right now, and it's not successful right now. But I'm glad to be on, Coach, and it's always great to see you.
And vice versa, Alfonso. It's so good to see you.
Thank you.
Hey, Dane, you're up, sir.
Dane Taylor, class of 2000. I currently live in Maplewood, New Jersey, which is about, say, 20 minutes outside of New York City. I have been an executive recruiter for now 16 years that I recruit high-level executives across the Wall Street environment. I'm currently a partner of a $700 million firm. And, you know, just happy to be on the call, see some of my brothers, see some of the old heads as well that I haven't seen in a while. And Coach Guy, like, look, man, congratulations. You've made an impact on all of our lives over the years. You know, happy to see you, you know, being able to move to greener pastures.
Yeah, thanks, Dane. Thanks. Trust me, it's a little bit bittersweet, but like I said, I need to get back to double sessions.
Next up, Alpha Bob, the biggest fan of the Washington team.
Yeah, that's me, but I'm a bigger fan of Coach Geyer.
Alpha, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you as well, Coach. This is a class of 98. We still reminisce about them days. Coach was the best. I mean, the best. Even Coach Wagner down there, I see you. Everybody's been, you know, still thinking about them days. We still live on them days. We still thrive off them days. And especially living off Coach. Coach Guy's been the best. He's always been a role model in my life, and I'm sure plenty of other people's lives. And best of luck to you. And you're in my prayers. And I love you, Coach.
Well, Alpha, trust me, it's the feeling's mutual, and you guys don't realize, you know, how often you kept me from getting fired here at Milton Hershey. just by not sharing some of the things I said and did. The right people here, it kept me from getting fired. So I think fortunately we're all not only sign ups, show ups, but thank God that if I can get through one more week, maybe I'll be an end up like you guys are.
This is gonna be good story time.
Hey, Nate, you're up, sir. Name, class, what you're currently doing, short and sweet.
All right. Hey, how you doing, Coach Geyer? Nate Palanica, class of
Nate,
1994. Hey, good to see you too. Class of 1994. Currently, I live in Northampton, Pennsylvania. Literally, I'm outside, and my brother, everybody knows my brother, Maurice Moore. He lives there. Mo is in the house. I knocked on the door, but he didn't answer. So Mo lives there, and I live there. So, and we're actually doing some
connected at the hip.
You know, and we're actually doing some renovations on his house, but yeah, getting back to Coach Geyer, you know, also I have two children. My daughter's 23, she's about to be 24. My son is 19, about to turn 20. She just graduated from last year, actually, from Philadelphia University, and she's working at Urban Outfitters. And my son is currently a freshman at Merrimack University, which is a Division I school, just slightly above Boston. So, and I have a lovely wife, my beautiful wife, Giovanna. And I'm currently a UPS driver. Been here for 17 years.
Nate, if I knew you were going to make a career with UPS, I would have tried to maximize my retirement a little bit more and bought some stock in UPS. Because I know you hustle, man. I know you hustle.
I really wish I was around the time when their stock was penny stock.
Yeah.
Because I would have been retired by now.
No, they're fortunate to have you.
Okay.
Yeah, Andre Whitaker, you're next, sir.
Andre Whitaker, class of 99, live in Harrisburg. I'm an insurance agent here in the area with another alumni. Married, 3 kids, boy 18, just got accepted in the University of Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Then 10 and 7.
What's he gonna focus on at Pitt? Do you know yet, Andre?
Yeah, he's going pre-med. He's going to be an anesthesiologist. So, yeah, he got his brains from his mom. So my boys.
You don't even know how. You don't even need to say that, bro.
I don't know if any of you guys remember a guy named Jerry Johnson who graduated from Pitt Law School out there and was the assistant district attorney in Allegheny County for a while.
All right. Everybody knows Pastor Coach Wagner. Is there any players that I missed? Because I see some blank screens. If I missed you and I didn't call you out, unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
You want to say hi? You want to say hi?
Okay. Nate, your brother there?
Yeah, he's coming now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's putting on his jacket and stuff. He's gonna come over to my house.
Roger, can you ask Pastor Mike to indicate what year he graduated?
He's on mute. He can go ahead, Coach.
I have no class. My only claim to fame is getting yelled at by you, and I couldn't get Cornelius George to stop riffing in the trash can during pregame.
Well, I don't know if all these guys know that there was a point in time, just because of your sideline demeanor, that we had to reassign you up to the press box. As our religious ed coordinator had to be reassigned to the press box, just to keep him under control, keep him away from the officials.
That's all make
away from the
believe.
officials.
It's all fable.
I don't know
Hey,
about that.
I'm hanging out with my grandkids, Coach, so I'm going to head out. I'll catch up with you this week.
All right, sounds good, Mike. Thanks for stopping by.
See you, my friend.
All right, buddy.
All right.
See you, Mike. See y'all.
Bye, Coach.
All right, guys. So we got about a half hour left. I had a couple of questions so that going to make Coach Geyer a little bit uncomfortable. You know how he likes to plan everything out. He even told me a story this morning about a case of those manila cards that he had everything written down from years. But a couple of questions to throw to you, and I didn't give them to Coach Geyer ahead of time because he would have prepared. I want him to go off the top of his head so we can learn about Coach Geyer, the person. So the first question, Coach, is please tell us where you were born and how was the world at that time?
What?
What was the question?
Guys, I had to put this information in here before we got started on this Zoom. I had to put my birth date in, and I first of all was born in 1953, and I was born here in Hershey. And literally, I think there were still trolleys going up and down Chocolate Avenue when during that period of time. I was born in the old Hershey Hospital, which is right now a combination of our admissions office and the health center. And I lived on Chocolate Avenue growing up. Went to St. Joan of Arc, school and church, and we didn't have any snow days at that time, trust me. We went to school no matter what.
We didn't have snow days either.
And fortunate to somehow graduate from I shouldn't admit this, guys, but from Hershey High School, and then spent some time out at Wayne's alma mater, Clarion University, and then I was fortunate enough to make the decision to get to make teaching and coaching my career. And I won't bore you with any other details, but I will say this right now, that before we go any farther, Raj, that and I'm not going to get emotional here if I can help it, but I can assure you this is by far the very best belated Christmas gift I ever received or ever will receive, is to spend a few minutes with you guys here on a Sunday afternoon in late January. I'm humbled by the fact that you've been able to take a little bit of time out of your busy schedules with your families and do this for a few moments. And I mean that genuinely. So you guys have made the beginning of this last week here at Milton Hershey much easier for me, and I thank you for that.
Sure, Coach. So some more questions, Coach, delving into you, the man. Why did you choose to get into coaching?
It was just for me a natural, Raj. Honestly, I literally, when I went to Clarion University, my first year, I was in business administration, and I'd talk about a fish out of water. And the individuals that made the greatest impact upon me were literally PE teachers and coaches when I was growing up, and it just that became obvious that was going to be my direction, and it was a natural for me that I would never have graduated from college if I would have stayed in business administration, and fortunately I made a decision to change my major, and I was from there just kind of relied on those influences in my life, and then even influences once I graduated from college that helped me find my first teaching and coaching positions, and I was blessed to be surrounded by amazing teachers and coaches when I first started my career.
Excellent. So next question, what sports have you coached? I'm sure it probably covers different areas.
I don't know if I should admit this, but again, I'll just be very transparent with you guys. I was a 9th grade football coach right out of college, and honest to God, it's those guys are some of those guys are lucky that they're still upright. I mean, the coming out of college and playing 2 sports in college, football and baseball, and I was really spitting bullets, and those guys somehow survived my obsession coming right out of school, but anyway, coach football. I actually, one of the football coaches recruited me to help him coach wrestling. I knew absolutely nothing about wrestling, but those guys enjoyed beating me up in the wrestling room. That career did not last very long, but I coached baseball for a long time too, and then did so not only in Middletown but down in Florida, but I had heard a few things about our baseball program here at Milton Hershey School. A few people suggested that I just focus on one sport when I come to Milton Hershey, and I ended up doing that.
Okay. So let me get the.
Just imagine if your career went the other way, Coach, where you were coaching baseball instead of football.
that was trust me, the baseball program here is fortunate that I decided to make that decision. I don't know about you guys, but baseball was fortunate.
Yeah.
But anyway, I coached some baseball down in Florida, and that was no nonsense down there. I mean, we were out as soon as football season, we were out practicing baseball outside and played baseball right up until spring football kicked in the state of Florida. And I could tell stories about Florida high school football and baseball until not this afternoon's game, but tonight's game. So I won't bore you guys with that. Whole different world down there, man.
So on the spot here, what's your favorite position to coach at Milton Hershey, and why?
My favorite position.
That's easy.
Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody, Raj.
But it's okay. They're okay. The world wants to know.
Running backs, he already know.
Those, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you guys ever sense my affinity on defense, but I was okay working with linebackers. I was okay with that. But I tell you what, Raj, you know, whether it was, whether it was quarterbacks or whether it was running backs or whether it was DNs or whether it was linebackers or even the defensive secondary, I'm thinking I pretty much coached them all the same. So it was, you know, it was all good. But the last couple years when I was helping out as an assistant coach, I really had an enjoyable time there also, just zeroing in on inside linebackers and we had a lot of fun.
So another question, this is mostly from Jason, and I'm gonna try and mold it correctly. You coached pretty much 2 decades of Milton Hershey School students. Was there a distinct difference between the 80s or the current students of your last coaching spot? Is there a distinct difference between those groups, or I don't know if I asked that correctly?
Yeah, I mean, you mean honestly, back in the, you know, we go back decades now, you know, 3+ decades, back in the 80s, you know, for you guys, and even in the 90s, that time up at Old Senior Hall, I mean, those memories are amazing.
Yeah.
And
100.
and I got to tell you guys that, you know, when we sat on those back steps, you know, on game day, we sat on those back steps behind Senior Hall and talked to you guys and loaded up on those buses and then headed down to the field. There wasn't an awful lot we had to say on game day to get you guys ready to play. You know, I mean, it was, you know, I mean, you guys knew that when the game was over, we were going back up on the hill. You were getting back on those buses and you were going back to your student homes and having to maybe in some cases go back out into the barns again. And that's a whole, that's a whole different animal there, guys. I mean, I didn't have to focus quite as much on those game day pregame speeches as we did as times changed. But still, even in the 2000s, there were still you know, guys that were warriors that were willing to do the little things and get dirty and maybe not quite as many of them.
Gotcha. Before we get to people who want to speak individually, we'll go highs and lows, football wise. Any of the lowest memory, and then ended, of course, with the highest memory.
No, Raj, honestly, even, you know, we had teams that were highly successful, teams that were mildly successful, and then teams that struggled. And, you know, we would even talk as a coaching staff that, you know, even some seasons where the scoreboard, we were a little bit lean on the scoreboard. You know, we still had, you know, in those years, we had guys that were great teammates that gave everything they gave, and we just, you know, maybe we just weren't you know, from a skill standpoint, quite as good as some of our competitors, and we played a challenging schedule. I mean, you guys know that, you know, I mean, we didn't bypass anybody, and I was dumb enough that when we had an open date on our schedule, I mean, we were scheduling teams that were much larger than what we were, you know, because we would take everybody on, you know, and I, you know, I knew that any team that lined up against our guys, you know, were going to be they better have their chin straps buckled because we were coming after you, you know, and so again, you know, highs and lows. I fortunately look back on all of it, and I mean this genuinely. I'm not just sidestepping the question, but I look back on all of it with fond memories. And you know, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and whether we were 8-2, whether we were 5-5, or whether we were 3-7, you know, there was always good in what we accomplished as a group, and I just love the way everybody everybody cared deeply for each other. And I mean that does make me emotional. And again, I'm not going to go there, but you know, we cared pretty deeply for each other, and everybody was important. And there were no second-class citizens, and that was the way we were going to do things. You know, and it didn't matter whether you were a first-team all-conference performer, you know, or whether you were a sophomore and third on the look squad. You know, we were going to hug every one of you because you meant something to us, and you were all important. And it was all good, guys.
Thank you. Another question that came from the chat, Coach, and this is a little bit lighter. Growing up in Hershey, did you have what did you think about Milton Hershey School students? Because you have an interesting perspective that, you know, you were what we call a townie. You know, yep. What did you think of the Milton Hershey kids?
Roger, I again, when I was growing up, I literally on Chocolate Avenue. I mean, first of all, my older sister, she didn't date anyone but Milton Hershey guys. And I mean that. I mean, yeah, and she married a Milton Hershey guy. Uh-huh. You know, and you know, after those guys played on a Saturday afternoon in the stadium, they'd come over to my place when I was 9, 10, 11 years old, and I'd just sit in the front porch and just stare at them, man. They were my idols, you know. So, and I'd get on my bike on a Saturday afternoon and I'd ride over to Hershey Park Stadium. And I don't know why I couldn't get into the stadium, but I'd get off my bike and I'd stand there at the fence and I'd watch Milton Hershey play on Saturday afternoons when I was a kid. Wow. So and that's the way I grew up, and so trust me, when I had an opportunity, I had a few other friends of mine that worked at Milton Hershey. When Mr. Fisher called me, when I was down in Daytona Beach, Florida, and asked me to come up for an interview, I was on the next flight.
Wow. That's awesome. That is awesome. So guys, as we got a couple of few minutes now, and I guess anybody can phase out if they have the NFL to get to, but as for this part, you know, looking at this as the fourth quarter, if anybody wants to share any congratulations or thoughts, let's try to keep it a little short, respect everybody's time. And I'm going to be the last one to go, and that will end the meeting. So you can unmute yourself and say your thank you and anything else you choose to say to Coach Geyer.
Hey guys, before anybody gets started, again, I see James Wilson's on here too now, and I'm glad to see James. And I want you guys to know that as because of my respect for you and as a tribute to you, I do have khakis on today, and I have a light gray sweatshirt. Literally in my back pocket, I have a card here.
That's amazing.
And honestly,
that's glorious, Coach.
Yeah, before anybody gets off, that card says a couple things here. Nothing good automatically happens. You know, you're either developing good habits or bad habits. You know, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. You're either an overachiever or an underachiever. And, it's amazing what we can accomplish when no one cares who gets the credit. Great ever was achieved without enthusiasm.
It is.
Wow. Thanks.
Your actions speak volumes. And remember, hey, the players play, the coaches coach,
the cheerleaders cheer.
Administer. The officials officiate. No overlap. Yes, so stop checking for rain.
Coach Guy, here's the question. Do you have on a belt? Do you have on a belt with those khakis? Probably not.
No belt.
No belt.
No belt at all.
Keep it consistent.
Sneakers, khakis, and a sweatshirt.
And he also does not earn. Go ahead, Alfred.
Coach, I just want to say something. Solomon, I don't know if it was you, brother. I just want to say something I got to get something off my chest. I just want to say thank you to you for, and your legacy lives on in everything I do. I just did a speech the other day motivating people who are working with kids who are just like us. And I reminded them of what you gave to me when you first came down, got hired down there building Hershey. Give me a poster that said Great Expectations, and it had the University of Pennsylvania. I never went there, but you gave me a dream about going to college. You also gave me a lot of recommendation to go to Temple. So all the little things you taught us, and I don't want to get emotional, but even the Spartan line, you gave us a chance to get out of student home and get that anger and all the other things out, even after the whistle, Mark Perschley, but the intent, we all needed that. I know for myself, I needed that. So thank you for, and I'll argue the last thing I'll say is that you always did it with class. And I try to teach my son that. I never heard you curse. I heard you about looking a man in the eye and shaking hands and all that. So I thank you for that. Well, I didn't have a male role model except for you. So thank you for doing that.
Well, Alfredo, and you say that, and I'm reminiscent to all those days that you were able to sneak out of shop class and get down to the Universal multi-station we had down in the back of old Senior Hall, and the times that we spent back there together. And thank God for young people. You're a difference maker now.
Meeting Barbarian, remember them? Him, Alfredo and Todd Sims.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, part of that was keeping him out of trouble, Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was smart.
Just one of them.
That was very smart. That was good.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you were a little bit more sensible, a little bit. Yeah, but John Horner helped take care of you guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
hey, if I could just get a second, I want to say I want to elaborate what Alfredo said. And when I started as a sophomore and went through the ranks, to me, the most important thing was representing the players that were before us. I always felt that I am who I am because of the people in front of me, and I learned from them. I learned from Alfredo in shop class. I learned from Jason Wolf kicking my butt on the wrestling match, him doing ISOs with Jason Furness, him, and all those guys. So I hope as people progress through life, they see who came before you and do something a little better all the time. Make this world a better place. Make everyone a little better all the time. And that's what Coach always gave to me.
Mark, you remind me of, we used to talk before, on the practice field before homecoming games. Usually someone used to send a letter, an alumnus that played for us, and we'd read that and just talk a little bit about those guys that'll be up in the stands the next day. And they wore the same, a lot of them wore the same gear you guys have on, and they survived it, and you guys are going to be able to survive it, and let's play for each other. But at the same time, know that there were guys before you that set the standard.
Excellent.
Well said, Mark. Can I just add a couple? So, Milton Hershey himself, I think, was somebody I look up to as a mentor for me. Milton Hershey, I have a statue on the desk, and close behind him is Coach Geyer, because I think, as Alfredo said, a lot of us didn't have father figures. And in our lives, we're grateful for certain people that come into our lives, because most of us in Milton Hershey don't have dads. And what Coach Geyer provided, I think, was a path for us to truly become lions. We joked earlier about lion. Do you want to be a lion or a pussycat? And it sounds funny, and it was a moment in time, but I feel like he's provided us the ability to become lions in our own right. I've heard a lot of the men on this call talking about their kids and talking about what they're doing and talking about coaching too and providing value to society. And because of a guy like Coach Geyer, we're able to do that. And I'm just greatly appreciative of you, Coach Geyer.
Jason, I've been blessed just to hear today a little bit about some of what is being accomplished by all of you, here at this point in your cycle of life. And trust me, it does nothing but warm my heart. And again, as I said before, I had guys before me that did for me that what I was hoping I could in some small way do for some of you. And, hopefully we will all be able to maintain this kind of relationship with each other for a long time still. And you guys, I got to warn you now, because you gave all of you gave Roger your cell phone numbers, and I have them on a sheet of paper here, and I'm going to be retired, so I'm going to have a little more time on my hands. And yeah, I just keep your cell phones near you, because as busy as I've been, I'm not going to be quite so busy here moving forward, and hopefully we can stay connected.
If I could just say something real quick, I had a great opportunity to talk to Coach right after Christmas, and it was probably one of the best days of my life. It was like, kid talking to Michael Jackson or something like that. Well, all right, Michael Jordan or something like that, right?
You ever see my moonwalk, Cornelius?
From what you told me, it's not that great anymore. You know,
with a bum knee, yeah.
I would pay to see you dance, Coach.
I wanted to say this real quick as part of that conversation that we had, and it was something that I reiterated to him, is that I probably thrived. This year was probably one of the best years of my life where I thrived through it all. And it was tough for a lot of people. But I think that one thing that I recognized as I got older is that, Coach Geyer and the rest of the staff and then team there, especially, I mean, he's the leader, right? Were proficient and efficient at their ability to brainwash, right? And that ability to brainwash meant, brainwashing you into believing in yourself, right? And believing in the capabilities that you had, and that, it just took the effort, right? Take care of the little things, the big things will take care of themselves, those type of things. And, as I got older, and, none of us have had like an easy streak, all the way through, right? We all have had challenges. And as I've gotten older, as I met those challenging moments, such as this year, that brainwashing of believing in myself that Coach helped instill in the team, helped instill in me, has been the backbone of everything, right? The good times will come, but when the bad times come, I just feel so comfortable with it, because I've learned that, the work ethic and putting in the work will get you through it. So those types of, I mean, that is what we were here for, right? We weren't really a football team. It's kind of like Jason said, where we were a lion team, right? We were learning how to be men. And I greatly appreciate that, Coach.
Cornelius, we were fortunate, and I think everybody else on this Zoom would agree that, we had a coaching staff, or each of you had a coaching staff that everybody was on the same page. We could just go through names, whether it was Coach Ainsworth or Coach Weidman, or, Coach Smith, and, and then, on and on and on. I mean, years and years ago, even at the very beginning, Coach Galloway, and then in the 90s, and then the coaches, Coach Alessi, with the wrestling program. But even in football, the guys that we had, Coach Moore and Coach Zerby, and, Coach Heisey, and I just go on and on and on. And everybody was on the same page. Coach Beeler, who was with us for a while, and we had Coach Horner out of retirement, and all of us kept providing the same consistent message. And it didn't matter which way you guys turned, you were getting the same message, from all the guys you were surrounded by. And all of those guys could have been head coaches, and I could have been the assistant coach. And we used to get at each other about that, because they were all highly competent, and they all cared deeply about you guys. And we were fortunate that, we had a coaching staff that was all on the same page, and it made it easier to get all the players on the same page. So we were all fortunate to be surrounded by a bunch of really good guys.
Excellent. Anybody else?
Roger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roger, this is Gary right now.
Yep. Go ahead, Gary.
I just wanted to let people know that it was an honor working with Bob. I mean, you talk to anybody, and the first thing they say, he was a class guy, and he was. It was a great honor to work with you, Bob.
And vice versa, Gary. And we just touched on that. We were blessed to maintain consistency from year to year for our guys in the program, and the staff that we had, grade 9 right up through varsity. Everybody was on the same page, and everybody believed in the same ideals, and you were a huge part of that. And every time we lost one of you guys, it was a rebuild for us from a staff standpoint. But fortunately, we'd find somebody else that was like-minded, and I think it helped to do whatever it is that we accomplished with all of our players.
Yeah, Coach, this is Corey here. How you doing?
Good, Corey.
I know I had the pleasure of popping in and kind of chopping it up with you a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I see here that there are obviously a bunch of your former athletes and gentlemen who were molded and can look at you as a great resource, great coach, father figure, etc. I think the important thing, and it hit home right before Smitty, Coach Smith had put the post up about this group and some survey. There was just randomly an individual that said, hey, and I think I screenshot and sent you the text, but there was a student, and they may or may not have even been players on the football team, because I know there's some female students that were on there that were just saying, I miss coach. Weights up quick, weights down slow. That man has made such a tremendous impact. And to me, to personally point out Johnita Medina, who points to you and her journey of losing over 140 pounds. So the impact that you've made on students and staff is not to just stop with those who battled on the football field, but genuinely resonates all the way across the Milton Hershey campus and family.
You know, Corey, I'm not very accomplished or capable when it comes to social media. And Roger could tell you stories about that for hours upon hours, but and he's unfortunate that his office is right next to mine here. So from a technology standpoint, I don't see or engage in any of the social media stuff, but I you know, I've had phone calls from time to time from former students, and it's amazing what that 2-4 count and that weights up quick, weights down slow, how that's had an impact on a lot of former students that are still able to exercise now, they say, because in their mind, because of those techniques. And you know, Corey, you know, I think of you, and then when I see you, of course, I also think about what you and Gary are accomplishing together. And going back to something we said a few minutes ago, we had, when Gary was being recruited, we had an assistant from the University of Pittsburgh, Brian Angelico, who ended up coaching in the NFL. And Brian's Pitt team played on a Thursday night. He was standing on our sideline watching practice on a Friday afternoon for a Saturday game. And I walked up to Brian after practice and asked him if he needed anything. And Brian says to me, he goes, Coach, he said, I got to be honest with you. He goes, I see a lot of high school practices out in Western PA, and as I recruit, he said, I've never seen a high school practice like yours at Milton Hershey. He goes, I've never seen assistant coaches and head coaches and kids fly around the football field at practice like your kids do at Milton Hershey. He goes, I picked up some things that I can share with our staff at the University of Pittsburgh, just based on what I saw here this afternoon, watching Milton Hershey high school football practice. And you know, and it's a tribute to how you guys bought into to the things that we did. And again, I got nothing but fond memories about each and every one of you.
Excellent. Hey, Kenneth Woodley, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Coach Ken Woodley here. How you doing?
Good, Ken. So good to see you. Thanks for taking time.
Hey, no problem. I just want to let you know, Coach, that I'm gonna try to say this without getting all choked up. But something that you beat into our heads saved my life, Coach. Saved my life. You told us never let fatigue make a coward out of me. And I've lived my life on that statement. Lived my life on that statement. And it's allowed me to achieve everything that I wanted to achieve, family-wise, friend-wise, in any type of relationship. And I just want to say thank you, and I love you. Love you to death.
Ken, and I love you guys too. And you know, I see you share for a moment here, and I gotta admit to all of you, I've been pretty good about all this, but last Friday, this past Friday here, I had a little bit of a meltdown myself, and it was just because of, it wasn't because of sadness, but it was because of all the good. And I'm just I've been blessed, and I've been fortunate, and I'm so grateful for all of you, and just you sharing that for a moment is something that I'll carry for a long time.
Excellent. Anyone else before I wrap up?
Yep. Coach, I really just want to say, back when I was coaching wrestling at MHS just this past year, a good friend of mine asked me, why are you coaching? Especially, since I wasn't hired yet and I was a volunteer. And I said, in my time as an athlete, there were a handful of coaches that play such a significant part in developing me and who I am today. And you are part of that Mount Rushmore, I should say. Every day, even when I lost my job, and there's one quote that always stuck with me, and you said it earlier, nothing good automatically happens. And with the pandemic, I had to make tough decisions, but just striving to get better every day, because if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. I was talking to my grandma about you the other day, and she said, she's very thankful for you, and the other coaches that helped play a part. So, thank you for everything.
Carlos, I was watching you from a short distance last couple of years, whether it was on the football field working with our younger guys, or whether it was up in the wrestling room working with some of the younger guys, and you were engaged. I mean, you weren't just glad to be there. You were actually trying to help them get a little bit better. And I noticed that from a distance, and you were, in a short period of time here, you were a difference maker for some of our younger student athletes. And sadly, you're not going to be with us here in the short term, but hopefully you'll get back to us at some point.
Go ahead, Gus. Unmute yourself.
Coach, I don't know if you know this. I mean, we all know, obviously now we look at you, you're retiring, so we know that you're obviously human. But to us, like in my class, it's me on this call, it's me, Nate, Ken, just for my class, Russ, all for my class. I'm keeping it 100% honest. We never thought that you were human. We always looked at you as a superhero. You always ran, and you always ended with the same pace you started with. You could do 1,000 push-ups, and your tone of breath would be the same from the first push-up to push-up 100. So to us, it was like a healthy fear that we had of you that turned into a motivation for each and every one of us in our lives, to the point where now my son knows about you without even meeting you, and knows your stories, because we all speak of you and your stories so much. And my son had to, he's like, I got to get on the Zoom call because I got to see him. Like, I showed him who you were and the video on YouTube, and he's like, nah, that can't be him. And I'm like, listen, man, I'm telling you, he's not 6'8", 300 pounds, but I'm telling you, the fear that he would inflict in you in a positive way to motivate you and to get you going and not want to let him or yourself down is just unbelievable. And we all now have turned into, anybody here who has a son that plays football, my son's playing football, Ken's son playing football, Nate's son playing football D1. Anybody who got kids that play football, we all talk to our sons based on what we've learned from you. And I just want to say thank you for everything that you've given us, that you've shown us, that you've taught us. I just want to say thanks, man. We love you.
Gus, that's so kind of you. First of all, you all need to know that when we were doing those push-ups together, and that when we were running around the perimeter of the football field, right, I was truly feeling discomfort. but there was no way that I could allow myself to demonstrate it, because if I was going to ask you to do the things that I was asking all of you to do, I needed to demonstrate that it was possible. And trust me, it was painful, but it was possible. and there was discomfort, and you guys were really, what you were doing is you were helping me to slow down the aging process a little bit for a short period of time. That's why I said I got to go back to double sessions now. But anyway, you guys were my motivation, guys.
Go ahead, Phil.
Coach, that's exactly, I think, what we're all talking about. I think 2 words that came to mind was care deeply and just being passionate about whatever you're doing. And, obviously we've stayed connected over the years, and, you have demonstrated someone who cares deeply about every individual, every person, and even our families. I mean, you're naming our wives, our kids. You care deeply about us beyond Milton Hershey, and I've just been so blessed and thankful for that. I think even as you were saying, you have demonstrated what it means to be a leader of men, and that to me has been something that stands with me today as I have opportunity to invest in men and try to help them grow and be men themselves. And I think I think everybody on this call, but me specifically, take a lot out of your playbook, how to shape men, how to develop them, how to be men who care deeply, who are passionate about everything they do. So thank you. Obviously we'll stay connected, but love you, appreciate you. And it's been such a blessing to even have your influence on my family, the times that we've been able to get up to Hershey. So thank you.
Phil, love you too. And you, again, every time each one of you mentions something, something else I'm reminded of. And guys, again, we haven't talked about any scores on the scoreboard. We haven't talked, we have talked, very little about anything from an X and O standpoint, or about this game or that game, but it's all about the relationships. And I'll tell you the truth, some of my fondest memories are as you guys are leaving the locker room after practice. As you guys are leaving the locker room after a game at Henry Hershey Field, and we would shake hands, or we would hug each other, and we'd say something about the week we just shared together, and then about the weekend and what you need to do, and about what next week was going to bring ahead for us. Or we could have been out back behind the locker room, and we could have been taking 4-day-old pancakes and slapping peanut butter and jelly on them, and you guys treated it like it was the last food on earth. And we'd sit and talk about what homework you had to do that night, and what kind of help you needed, or whatever, or the Pop-Tarts that we used to hand out. I mean, honestly, those moments that we shared, those kind of moments we shared together are some of the most meaningful moments, where we were doing stuff that wasn't necessarily directly related to football itself, but was maybe even more important than the stuff we did when we were on the field together.
Excellent. Hey, Desi, go ahead. You're up, sir.
I believe it's only right that I follow Phil, as I did so on the quarterback position.
Yes, sir.
Next man up.
But yeah,
those are pretty big shoes, Desi.
I know.
Come on.
I know that he was a hell of a role model to follow after for sure.
Yeah.
And I was
You
just
did
hoping
well.
to do something. And
You did well.
I had some help from JB, thankfully, so I didn't do it all alone. But no, so to kind of talk to the point you were speaking on, Phil, about caring deeply, right? That resonates with me so very highly, because my big thing that I've taken away from everything with being on the team and being around Coach and all the other coaches as well, was the selflessness, right? It was, for me, I think I played quarterback, defensive back, and both special teams. I was punting at one time. So I don't think I left the field, right? And that's not a brag in any way. That's just to say that there was a lot expected of us, and I think anybody under Coach Geyer would have done anything, right? You would have busted your butt for 10 minutes past the whistle. You know what I mean? If you had to, because you understood. And again, it goes back to these values that he was instilling in us. It was more than just that football field. And we know that now, you know, as men, as people that have grown and have families and given back to other people. But it was, to us then, it was just in concept. It was like, let's do this, let's get this. And I don't care what lengths I got to go to. I don't care how tired I am. And you heard somebody just previously talking about, you know, being tired. I think it was one of the guys saying, you know, the whole thing about being tired and fighting through that. That's the whole thing. So anyway, for me, it's always been about selflessness, right? You got to bust your butt. You got to be willing to go to battle for the people around you that care for you or on your team, and even those who aren't. And you can take that, you know, and all the other teachings that Geyer gave us into your life now. And if you haven't been applying some of them, it's never too late. Just start thinking back on that stuff and really thinking about where you can apply it now, right, moving forward. And Geyer knows I've recently been able to talk to him. We had a meeting or an event for the bridge, and he was there supporting us like, you know, of course Geyer would, and just got to chop it up with him for a bit, man. But it's been a blessing to have all the teachings, right, and to understand that that definitely it exceeds the football field. It goes far past that for us. And I thank you, because it helps me in my marriage, with my kids, with business, right? So I appreciate it. Love you guys.
Love you too,
Des, you said kids plural?
Yeah. I got about 30 nieces and nephews, my dude. So I got one daughter, but I got a lot of children. I can tell you that much.
You got your boys are swimming. Okay, Frank, you're up. Sorry, Coach.
No,
thank you, guys. Hi, Coach. You know,
Frank,
people use, good to see you, by the way. You look great. You know, people use adjectives too freely. Incredible, awesome, amazing. The universe is amazing, I agree. Incredible when your child is born. When you share your life with someone, that is awesome. But I just want to say to you, Bob, you are a great man. And I freely say that, and I will stand by that. And I want to just say thank you.
Frank, I appreciate that. And you and I have had some meaningful conversations here in recent years as you've been able to come back for homecoming, and trust me, those have been more meaningful for me than they've been for you, and I would imagine, and I truly appreciate them. And, you know, I'm thinking as you guys are sharing a little bit, you know, I think about some things. You guys don't know this, but, you know, we as coaches used to spend a lot of time once you left the locker rooms, and we used to spend a lot of time only primarily because I expected it, that our coaches, we'd sit and talk about you guys an awful lot. And we talk personnel. And every once in a while, a coach would say, you know, especially early on in the season, our coaches would say, you know, it would be good if we would get maybe 40 times on our guys, or if we'd see how much they can bench press, and, you know, do some of those physical tests. And on more than one occasion, guys, I'd say to our coaches, guys, in all honesty, none of that matters if only we had a device that would be able to measure the size of their hearts. I said, that's what we need to figure out. You know, which are the guys that have the biggest hearts? You know, regardless of how fast they are or how strong they are, you know, we've got to determine, we got to figure out as coaches, you know, which guys are going to be the end ups here, which guys have the huge hearts. And all of you that are on this today, you know, more than passed that test numerous times. And you've all demonstrated, you know, when you were with us, how big of hearts you guys had. And then of course now as you live the lives that you're living, you know, what kind of hearts you still have. And it just, trust me, it warms my heart to just be a small part of this today.
Anyone else before I start wrapping it up?
Yeah,
Coach. No, Gary, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, shoot, like most of the guys on this call, like, you know, I didn't have a dad growing up, but mine was like really bad. Like, I knew nothing about sports. Like, got into high school, coach pulled me into his office going into my sophomore year. He was like, hey, you know, you got a chance to do something here, maybe at the next level.
Yeah, to be special.
Yeah, an opportunity to be special and contribute at the next level, college-wise. He was like, you know, is there a university or conference, you know, that you wanted to go to? And I was like, what do you mean conference? He was like, you know, Big Ten, Big East. Like, I was like, yeah, no, I have no idea what that even means. So he would like start to quiz me and test me on those things. And that kind of father-like mentality, you know, it carried on into college. You know, he would text me before every game, wide base, feet on fire, you know, contribute, you know, and that carried into the NFL too with the same things, you know. And my dad is still alive, right? And he has an opportunity to contribute in my life and always has, but chose not to. But like a lot of the coaches from Milton Hershey, specifically Coach Geyer, you know, I could always rely on a text from him. And even now, you know, doing what we're doing with real estate and the bridge, you know, he's still a tremendous support. So I say thank you for that. You know, I never felt as if there was a void because of the men at Milton Hershey, you know, kind of providing that father-like mentality. And once I met you and really made a relationship with you, you really, you know, carried that on. So, you know, thank you. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to continue to stay in contact. You know, you're not, just because you're retiring don't mean you won't be talking to us. So look, like you said, you'll be retired, so you'll probably be talking to us more. So I'm looking forward to that. Please reach out. Let's stay in touch as we always do.
I hope that's the case, Gary. And again, the things that you're doing now are so meaningful. And I'm so anxious to see how things play out moving forward for you and the group that you've assembled, Corey and Desi and everybody else, and looking forward to just see how it all plays out.
Excellent. Who's next? Someone else had something?
That was me, Coach Quasi. And of course, I'll try to keep it brief as well. But I think that one thing that I guess resonates with me in particular is during our time, and I'm talking about everybody on the call here, our time at Milton Hershey, and you know, whether we were in your class as a student or playing under you as a student athlete, I'm recognizing a theme as far as I don't think you ever had. Sorry, I stole the pretzels from my daughter. The nerve of me. I don't think that you've ever had quote unquote favorites when it comes to being a coach or being a teacher to us. If you did, you hit it very well. I mean, whether it be the guy that ran for 2,000 yards or the guy that, you know, could barely get off a block, you know, to make a play, I think you always treated each and every player equally. And that's something I think I took away from, not just from Milton Hershey, but just from being around a person like yourself and the coaches we had into my everyday life. Because, you know, one thing that is missed, I think, in a lot of this is that when students come to Milton Hershey, there's a level of vulnerability that you kind of give up, you know, or a level of just kind of letting your guard down to people that you don't know if they have your best interest at heart. And I think with each and every one of us, as we've spoken to you and connected with you and been in your presence, that's never been a doubt in any of our minds as far as you having our best interest at heart. And I'm forever grateful for that. I mean, I know we have, it amazes me as far as how many people have felt that about you. And I know we have a number of people on the call right now, but I'm just looking forward to, like, I mean, you won't be there for your own funeral, but that party is going to be amazing, Coach, as far as the people that come out to celebrate you for that, man. So, hey, we love you, man. Hey, we thank you for so much and all that you do. And just, enjoy this time. And I'm sure we'll be hearing for you for sure.
That's why, Quasi, that's why I'm going back to double sessions. I'm going to try to postpone that event, for a while if possible. It just, and again, this goes back to all the other coaches that you were surrounded by too. And everybody was on the same page, Quasi. I mean, there were and we would remind each other. We would. When you guys were gone from the locker room, and we'd constantly remind each other, there's no second-class citizens in this program. No second-class citizens. Everybody's important. And let's make sure that we're being attentive to everyone. Not just the guys that are making the greatest contributions on Friday evenings or Saturday afternoons. Let's make sure we're being just as attentive to the guys that aren't getting those opportunities on Friday nights and Saturday afternoons. And it created a pretty healthy chemistry. So, and I'm thankful for that. So thanks for sharing that.
Can I share one last thing, Coach Smith?
Go ahead, Micah.
Yeah, Coach Guy, I just want to echo the sentiments of everyone on the call. You've played a tremendous role in my life and in the life of others. I'm a coach now, and lie to you not.
That warms my heart, Micah.
Yeah, Coach Smith and I see each other sometimes, but at the beginning of each season, I talk about my daughter. All right, go ahead, babe. At the beginning of each season, I talk about the signups, the show ups, and the end ups. They don't know what's coming from Coach Geyer, but somehow of the many things you said, that one thing, it stuck with me. And I think that's important in life that you see things through. Your word, your commitment, your dedication to things, those little things, I keep those now. And I think it was Gus that talked about you being almost like superhero-like, right? And Coach Geyer's not human. I forget how many years ago it was, but at some point, you may remember this, we came to a homecoming. I was with Jafar, and we came to your house. And I think you were going out on a Friday night for to not recruit, but
we were probably going scouting, Micah.
Scouting, there it is. And he leaves us, and we're walking in, we're talking to Coach Geyer, like, all right, guys, I'll see you guys later. Lock up, do what you need to do. And I'm like, this guy's like, I'm seeing Coach Geyer in a different light, right? There was some other beverages in the refrigerator. He said, hey, there's some hoagies over there, whatever the case may be, and he left. And Jafar's like, he just left us. I'm like, wow. But I would have never known that before. Excuse me. Yes, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'll be right with you. But Coach, we'll be in touch.
Hey, honey.
My boss. Oh, there she is. Siani, say hi. Say hi to Coach
girl.
John is here too. He just woke up. But we'll be in touch, Coach. Certainly, and thank you for everything. I love you, and we'll be in touch. Thank you for setting this up, Coach Smith.
Micah, thanks. Micah just reminded me, and these other guys will relate to this, that you guys know that we never did the team photo of your team until after the last practice of the season. And there was always a method to that madness, guys. And it was literally the emphasis on the end ups. And we'd wait until we came off the practice field prior to our last practice before we'd congregate you guys and take that team photo. And that was meaningful to me, as I hope it was to you, that we were honoring the guys that made it to the very end. And so I was a little bit taken back a little while ago when Jason Wolf spoke about grandchildren. And that changes our lives, Jason, and in such an amazing way. But all of you also embraced all of you embraced my family and my daughter Christy, my son Mick, my grandkids in the later stages. It was a wonderful thing to reflect back on, that we all cared about each other, and I just hope that we look back on it and think that there was always a relatively healthy environment that we were all a part of.
All right, guys, I'm gonna close this out. Is there anyone else? I don't want to short anybody for this this important event.
We do a quick hip hip hooray.
Raj, thanks for putting this together, man. Thank you for
Okay.
reaching out to us. I know Quasi had reached out to me and sent it out. Thank you for putting this together.
Yeah,
This is
appreciate it.
amazing. Thank you.
I
Coach.
thought it was
Guys,
on. I thought it was on
Yeah.
3, Coach Garrett.
Yeah, just hold up, guys. I gotta say my part first. So if you mute yourselves, and then I'll tell you guys when. But as a player at Mill Hershey School, is coming from Brooklyn, New York to Hershey, Pennsylvania, there was a culture shock. There was definitely a culture shock, as you can imagine, on a whole bunch of different levels. And I never played organized sports in Brooklyn. Played sports all the time, but never organized sports. And to come to Milton Hershey School and be involved in organized sports, you kind of wonder about yourself. And Desi said there's Quasi said there's a vulnerability of things. And for me, Coach Geyer has always been that steadfast person in my life. I don't know if I'm gonna get through this because when I graduated from Mill Hershey, he got me to Millersville University, and my mom being all the way in New York, going home on weekends and all that other stuff was just not present. But the Geyers were. They'd come pick me up, take me for a weekend, and Christy and Mickey were like brothers and sisters to me. So when I graduated from Millersville, and I landed in Hershey, working for Brussel's, they taught me everything from filing taxes, the whole 9 yards. They were in every part of my life. They were there for that milestone. When I got married, they were in Philly. Mick was in my wedding. When my mom passed away, they were in Brooklyn in the church, sitting in the pew. When my sister just passed away, he's one of the first people to reach out to me. And my dad just passed away, and it's unfortunate, but I speak the truth. Coach Guy is more of a dad to me than my own dad. He's taught me so many things, so many examples, leading by examples, and they're not perfect examples, but they are examples of what a man should do. A man should care about this family in any kind of way. Whether you make great decisions or bad decisions, but being present is just there. And I can't help but wish him the best of luck as he gets involved more in his grandchildren's lives, because I know that's critically important to him. But I just wanted to thank you. I wasn't going to let this time pass without myself and you guys being able to give some appreciation to him. COVID has robbed a lot of things, but I wasn't going to let COVID rob this moment for us. And I want to say thank you. I mean, I might be the only player who's ever played underneath you, lived with you, coached alongside of you, and worked underneath you as my current supervisor. And I thank you for everything you have done along the way. It's appreciated. You've molded the way I coach. And the honest truth is that I'm not coaching at Mill Hershey football anymore because it's not what I am used to. It's not what I'm used to of impacting lives off of the football field like all these gentlemen are talking about. And I just had to cut ties with that unless I had the opportunity to mold and coach the way that I know how to coach. And that's to worry about the person more than a football player. And every one of these guys have said that and reiterated that, and that's critically important to me. You know, and as you said, Coach Guy, none of these guys have talked about their records over 4 years. They have not talked about their records over the 4 years. It's not important to them. You know, they realize in the big picture of things, you know, be an example of what a man can be, you know, is what the value you've brought to us and what we appreciate, you know. So guys, do me a favor, unmute yourselves. I'll wait till everybody's unmute. So everybody's unmuted. So guys, you know that the tradition here at Milton Hershey is that when they're announced the captains of the game, you know, everyone Coach Guy always gives everybody 3. So Coach Guy has been the captain in our lives at some part. So on the count of 3, we're going to give him 3. All right. I don't know how this is going to sound audio wise, but we're going to try and make it happen. All right. So Coach Geyer, we appreciate. Guys, let's give him 3. Ready?
Hip, hip.
Let's do that one more time.
Let's try it one more time.
He used to say that too. He say one more time, guys.
Frank, you got, there's a little bit of a delay. Or Frank, we know you got rhythm issues, but okay.
John, we're gonna go. All right.
Okay.
White boy.
3. Give Coach 3.
Guys, let's give him 3. Ready? There you go, guys.
There we go. Yeah, it is, Coach.
Hey, Roger, to you and to everybody. I'm the one that has truly been blessed. I'm the one that's most thankful. And guys, I'm honored. I'm honored that you took this time.
Will you give me a snack
And
from in the
with
snack
that,
cabinet?
with that
Yes.
said,
Give me 1 second. Okay.
with that said, I want you to know that I love all of you. I love your families. And let's see if we can do 3 cheers for the Spartans. Right? So here, let's see if we can do this, right? We'll go 3 cheers for the Spartans. Hip hip.
Hooray!
Hip hip.
Hooray!
Hey!
Hooray! Hey!
Coach.
All right.
Lovely, man.
Love you guys.
Hey, love you,
Coach.
Coach.
Everybody.
Coach.
Hey guys, enjoy your Sunday.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. I'm probably gonna let this download, and I'll probably post it up or link it up on Facebook or YouTube or something like that, so you guys can reflect on it. All right.
Thank you, Coach Guy. Smith, thank you.
Hey, thank you, Roger. Thanks, Rod, for doing this, man.
All right.
See ya.
Have a great week,
See you
guys.
Bye.
Now you coach.
Congratulations.
Get better.